Hello, my Wellish family. Today's episode is for anyone who's been in such emotional pain that nothing anybody says helps. Not your friends, not your therapists, not even your own logic. Because the truth is, you cannot, no matter how hard you try, outthink trauma. You can't mindset your way out of your nervous system pain. You have to help your body feel safe again. So today, I'm joined by Betsy Kudlinski, a freedom guide and somatic experiencing practitioner who helps people resolve trauma and expand their capacity. And what makes Betsy so unique is that she brings over 3 decades of experience working with animal nervous systems, which is so cool. That's such a huge part of it, and behavior into the work they do with humans. This conversation is grounding. It's going to be eye-opening. And honestly, it's exactly what I wish that I had when I was going through my own emotional trauma. So Betsy, welcome to Wellish. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm excited to be here too. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, me too. So for my listeners who are meeting you for the first time, can you tell me a little bit about who you are and explain what exactly it is you do?
Sure. I mean, I shall try. So let me start by saying that I can tell you about my history, and I will, just a little, right? Just enough to understand where I'm coming from. But the work that I do right now is you were saying you can't think yourself out of trauma. You can't think yourself out of emotional turmoil. And so I don't do stuff that you can think about easily. I say a lot of words about what I do, and it helps to it's like if it resonates enough, if the gazillions of words that I say about what I do resonates enough, you have to try it with me, with somebody else, because it's your body that understands it. And your body could, should, possibly in the future might go, oh yeah, where was this?
Yeah, it's so real.
Yeah. So with some of the words, I've worked with animals for over 3 decades, like I said. And when you work with animals, you work with their nervous systems because you don't logic your way through working with animals. So I've worked with everything from dogs and cats and parrots and house pets to I was a zookeeper for 6 years to I rode horses for probably almost 20 years, did some horse training, competed, like all of that stuff. And then I've also worked at farms. I went to school initially 25 years ago, 27 years ago, to be in animal industries, right? First it was zoo, and then it was farms. So you get to know how animals work, especially across a wide variety of species, right? And so what I like to say is I work with the animal that doesn't recognize that they're an animal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hi,
Um,
that's us.
that would be you. Um, so then I also had health issues. Finally, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia
Mm.
15, 16, 17 years ago. And the way that I look at fibromyalgia now, we all get to look at our own conditions the way we need to or want to,
Mm-hmm.
right? To make sense of them or to treat them. The way that I look at it is, oh, that was internalized trauma that
Mm.
I had no idea how to do anything with. And so it expressed because I ignored my body and I ignored my needs. Um, it expressed through pain and fatigue and daily migraines and everything. So I crashed sometime around 32, and I was flat, like on the couch or the bed for like a year and a half.
Mm.
And then I came back and I worked with horses and then I worked at a farms, and that was much better for my system. And then COVID happened, and it doesn't matter how good it is for your system, that amount of stress just made it all happen again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I will say is that 8, 9 years ago, I realized I was like looking at my symptoms, and I looked at symptoms of complex trauma or PTSD, and I was like, but nothing bad has ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
That's so
understand why
relatable.
I have the same symptoms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're
Right?
like,
Like
I
there's
have
the
not
whole
had
Valley
some
Girl going
massive
on
trauma.
here.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I started to look into trauma. I also got training as a life coach around the same time. And it wasn't enough. The life coaching thing wasn't enough. I have the training and I use it now, but I didn't do it initially. And then I found somatic experiencing and I was like, oh, that,
That's it.
like, that sounds like
That's the
everything. And
secret
so,
sauce.
exactly. And so, what I found somatic experiencing to be is putting the information, the science, the on purpose tools behind everything I've done for 30 years
Mm,
in taking care of animals, and then doing it on purpose
mm-hmm.
with humans.
Yeah.
So I work with individuals and groups of humans now. So I work with individuals or herds
Mm-hmm.
of animals.
I love that.
Hey, you're back. If it's okay,
Please.
I'm gonna just like slip into practitioner for like half a second.
Please.
Notice how your body is, right? You just had like a huge upset. You're supposed to be professional. You're supposed to be like doing the fucking podcast. You were midstream, mid thought, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
all went, and then
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't even get back.
Yep.
So just noticing that activation in your system, and we're back. It never stopped recording.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
Notice your feet. Are they on the
Mm-hmm.
floor?
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel the chair underneath you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have a back to your chair too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you just had a big breath.
Mm-hmm.
Just noticing how you feel after that breath. Yeah.
So
And
much
take a look
better.
around your room. Yeah, yeah. Almost there. Take a look around your room.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your office? Is this your
My
bedroom?
my house.
It's your
Studio.
house. It's your
So all
studio.
all in one.
All in one, of course. Yeah. And you have a cool little plant behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So you decorated, right? So you've got
Mm-hmm.
things around you that you like to look at, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Might be a little bit closer than you prefer, but
Mm-hmm.
it's your
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
noticing your stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Hmm. That's good stuff, dude. Not to dude
Yeah.
you, but
No, no, no,
that's
that's
good
fine.
stuff.
I do to everybody, and then I've been brought up short enough times because I'm trying so hard to be
I know. Well,
inclusive.
yeah. Oh, that can I leave that in? Like this was great.
I was realizing that I hadn't explained um, what I do.
That's
So there, that's what I do.
what she does. There it is. No,
That is a very small part of what I do, but yeah.
I mean, and that's that. Let me tell you, that is my favorite part about the people that I talk to, the people that I interview, is that everybody is so like that. Like you just get it. You click into like the mentality that it just makes us live so much better and like so much more at ease, and that like it's not this like high pressure environment that happened. And that is my fear. You said it right off the bat. I want to be professional, and I don't like when my systems don't work, and it's incredibly frustrating because you just want things to streamline and be okay. And when stuff that happens like that, you do get so activated and elevated, and your nervous system starts crashing out. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing, like it's just things work out how they're supposed to, and all we can do is work with what has happened.
Yeah,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it, the shit out of that. That was great.
I'm glad. I'm glad. It'll make for a better rest of the interview.
It's true. It will. Okay, so where were we? So I liked what you were saying about your fibromyalgia and how you identify that as a source of like a reaction, for lack of a better word, to trauma.
Hmm.
So I really enjoy that you call yourself a freedom guide. And that's what that kind of makes me think of, is because I think, I could picture how you get so trapped inside of this diagnosis or anything that you label as something that's wrong with you, and you've taken it and you put yourself in the power seat. So, like, can you explain what exactly a freedom guide is?
Yeah, sure. I made it up.
Love
So
that.
I was thinking like a nature guide, right? Where you like walk along and you show people nature and you ask questions. And so often a nature guide isn't like, and that's a tree and that's a bush and that's a dog and that's a bird, right? Like nature guides very rarely just inventory everything that they're seeing. What they're offering is an experience for you, right? What's your experience?
Mm.
Oh, do you think that looks like moss? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? And that's what I do in method, right? Just like I did with you just now, right? Like offering that you get to have your experience. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you what your experience is. I was suggesting that I can imagine that you were all kinds of frazzled
Mm-hmm.
because that
You were right.
happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hold it tightly because you might have had a completely different experience than me. And if I label it with, you know, a scientific name, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't help you because your experience is going to be different than mine, even if I've had the same kind of experience, because we've had a different background,
Mm-hmm.
right? We've had a completely different background. We were born at different times. We were born in different locations. We had different parents. We had um, everything was different about us. And so the way that you would handle everything dropping out in your system, just shutting down and crashing, is completely different than the way that I would.
Mm-hmm.
And if it happened tomorrow, you'd probably react differently than today,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's freedom in that, right? Like, so freedom is my little pet word.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying we're like you were talking about chronic illness, being trapped in the diagnosis, right? Well, trauma's the same way, right? We get trapped in a very specific nervous system pathway, right? This is like this. Sometimes it's I smell lavender and I think of my grandmother's kitchen.
Mm.
Other times I see something coming out over here. There's just movement in my right periphery. And my body, even if my brain is completely past it, my body remembers when I was broadsided at a stoplight, right? And so what we do together is resolve trauma, like for instance, resolving your body's response to being broadsided that your brain might have worked through with a therapist or with your friends or whatever, but your body has not forgotten. That's called an implicit memory,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and and we also I help people work with their own systems and figure out their own bodies instead of what everybody, like we live in a culture that diagnoses and labels,
Mm-hmm.
and you're an individual. And I don't give a about your diagnoses. I never asked you if I could swear.
You can swear.
Okay. I don't give a flying fuck about your
Yes.
diagnoses, Sarah, right? Like, I care about your experiences right now, and I especially care if your experiences change after we work together. And so, to me, that's all freedom. Like, it just opens up all these possibilities. It opens up the right peripheral vision again so that
Mm-hmm.
it's not scary anymore, or all these things. So that's what a freedom guide means to me. And then my work, like my business, is renaturing. And so I think that that probably like fits in with what we were just talking about, right? Like what I was just talking about. Let me be clear, I was holding forth. Um, uh, the 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 body knows what to do. We're animals, like I said earlier, right? We're animals. Our nervous system knows what to do. Even if
Mhm.
it didn't learn it properly
Mm.
to begin with, right? Like developmental complex trauma, the whole problem is that we didn't get that founding, that solid foundation, right? Shock trauma is a before and after. With developmental trauma, there was no before.
Mm.
But that doesn't mean that our organism, our animal body, doesn't understand that there could be something different. It just doesn't know what.
That is huge.
And yeah, right? So
Yeah.
we're renaturing. It's not rewilding because we're not trying to be wild. We're not trying to go feral,
Mhm.
right? But we are natural beings. In our culture, in Western culture, and especially in capitalist, patriarchal America, we are taught to understand that humans are a prefrontal cortex that runs a meat suit robot.
Betsy,
So
I have been
put
yelling
this
about
on you.
capitalism all day today. It is so funny that you just said that.
Yes, put this on your skin. It'll make you look younger because you should look younger. Do these exact exercises, right? Like,
Mhm.
because your body needs these nutrients, right? Like, as if we are completely disconnected from our
Mhm.
bodies, which of course means that we are utterly disconnected from the earth. So my pet thing is climate change, which is now climate collapse,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And all the animals, all the nature, like everything has always been my thing. And so now I bring that into this.
Okay, so I was going to ask you the background of that. Like, how
Yeah.
did the animals lead you to somatic experiencing?
My body couldn't do the work anymore. And so after I crashed the last time, I, which was 2022, 21.
Mhm.
Yeah, 2021. And then I started the training the following year for somatic experiencing. And I had been playing, like I said, I was trained as a life coach, and I had been playing with this idea of, I worked at a curtain store a gazillion years ago, like literally draperies. And I used to joke that I was doing curtain therapy because I can listen to people just as well as I can listen to animals.
Mm.
And I am very verbal, if you hadn't noticed. And
We love that about
I
you.
love social engagement, social interaction. I mean, I am a human. I am a human animal, which means that I belong around other human animals. And so I I started looking into it for my own healing. And then I was like, no, this is the piece. This is what I want to do. And now I have um I'm assisting for SE trainings around the world. Next month I'm going to go to Greece. Um and I have highfalutin ideas that at some point I'd like to teach. I'd like to become one of the faculty members, but that's years down the road. I don't have the credentials right now and whatever. But um, I did it because I've worked with all the other animals,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
I
now
love that.
I can help people. And in a very, very small corner of my world, I can help the world. Because if we
Mm.
get more free, renatured, healed humans, even a little bit healed, it echoes out, it ripples out, it changes their relationships, it changes what they do in the world. And so, yeah, that's why I
Yeah,
do what I do.
completely. I love that. So, what were you noticing about animals and nervous systems that made you say, like, oh, humans need this?
Yeah. Well, I learned about somatic experiencing before I started to put it together. So I went into somatic
Okay.
experiencing thinking humans, 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 right? Like I'd done the life coach training. I was thinking I needed something that wasn't a farm job anymore because my body just couldn't handle it anymore. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, well, let me try this. And I got to, it's a 3-year training, and I got to the end of the second year and I was like, oh, we're supposed to bring in our our main, like a lot of the people that go through somatic experiencing training are psychologists or therapists of some sort.
Mm.
There's also body workers like massage therapists or physical therapists. There's doctors that take the training. And and the whole point is this is supposed to add on to what you already do. And so I was thinking of myself as just a somatic experiencing practitioner with a little bit of life coaching. And then I was like, dude, I know so much more about it. And the reason that I'm good at this is because I learned to read animal nervous systems and understand what they were doing. A big part of SE, which is somatic experiencing, came from ethology, which is the study of animal behavior.
Mm.
And um, so I was like, oh, I know that. And so it
Mhm.
just became really natural to just be like, okay, I can read the body, I can read the energy, and offer uh I can offer techniques like I did with you, right? Like feel the
Mhm.
floor underneath you, look around, that kind of stuff that I can't say to my dogs. Right,
Mhm.
like I'll do SE with my dogs, but it's a little different because I don't get to use that verbal intellectual stuff as much. But
Mm.
um but I bring this like just understanding, and after 30 plus years, it's kind of an intuitive understanding because
Mm.
it's not like I went to school to learn animal nervous systems, right? Like it was on the ground training
Mhm.
over decades of how we work.
Okay.
Specifically mammals, but yeah. And so they all have the same threat response cycle that we do. We all have the same threat response cycle. And I can share it with you if you'd like.
Yeah, please. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. So for those of you who are listening, I'm going to gesture and stuff, but you should be able to get the whole gist of this. So imagine a deer, right? Sarah, I'm sure you can imagine a deer,
Mhm.
even if you don't see them in downtown Chicago. Like you could picture a deer, right? You could picture a deer, maybe picture like 3 deer, and they're in a meadow, right? And maybe there's a stream, maybe I don't know, whatever. Picture them in a meadow, right? And they're eating, maybe they're drinking, they're kind of looking around. So you can picture these deer, they're just kind of smoothly looking around when their heads are up, and then they put their heads down and they grab something and then they look around again. You can picture their ears. They're these great big satellite dish ears that just swivel, but not, they're just like lazy swiveling, right? And these big, dark, soft eyes that are liquid and just kind of taking everything in, right? And what do you got over there, Bob? Oh, I don't want clover. Diane, do you got little tree shoots? I'm all about little tree shoots. And then I like to call this phase, this nervous system state, rest and relate. Rest and digest as if they were lying down and chewing their cud, right? But rest and relate, we're just walking around the house, right? Or we're sitting on the couch watching a movie, or we're doing dishes or something, right? So that's rest and relate. But then a twig snaps, right? And you can picture the deer, right? Their whole
Mhm.
center of gravity changes.
Mm.
Their ears are no longer big satellite dishes. They are directed directly where they are looking. Their eyes are no longer soft. They're big and dark, sure, but they are pointed directly at where that twig snapped. And then it was a squirrel. Never mind. Shake it off a little bit and God, well, at least I noticed, right? So that was the startle or the startle response or the preparation for a survival response, right?
Mhm.
Or the twig snaps and it's a mountain lion and they're out of there, right? Sure, deer have pointy little feet and they can be badasses when they want to fight. But you don't fight a mountain lion, right? You run from a mountain lion. So they are running, 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 running as fast as they can, right? They are careening through the woods. And then they start to look around. It's abrupt movements, right? They're looking around, and they don't see the mountain lion. It's not chasing them anymore. It was chasing them, but it's not chasing them now. And Bob is there and Diane is there, and they can start to slow down and they can run out and start to walk, and their sides are heaving, right? You can still imagine this, right? So that was the survival response, right? Flight, right there. Easy peasy. We all recognize that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they recognize that the threat is over. So it's like a completion of the threat, right? The mountain lion is no longer chasing them. They made it. They're all here. And they can go, yeah, wow, that was scary. That was awful. Really glad we got away. Yeah, good. Whew. And then they start to walk again. And I'm giving artistic license to deer. Did you guys see how fast I ran? That was awesome. I didn't run into any trees or anything. We all stayed together and we saw that twig snap, or we heard the twig snap and we saw what it was, and we were so fast. Man, we jumped over that log. It could have taken us out, and then the mountain lion would have gotten one of us, but we all jumped and that was really good. Man, that was super freaking scary. Yeah. And while they're walking, while they're talking, their breathing slows, their heart rate slows, they're coming back down. Then they come to another meadow, and their eyes are soft again, and their ears are big and swivelly, and they're able to kind of look around at their environment and go, man, I'm thirsty. Where's there a stream? Oh, there's a stream. Glug, glug, glug. And they're back to rest and relate. And I can offer you that when your system crashed, there was this, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
It's not working. And then all of a sudden it goes down and you're like, shit, 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 shit,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Were you here?
And
Are you sure
then
you couldn't hear me?
and then and then you did all the things to make it come back up, and I was still here and it was still recording, and you're like, okay, okay, it's it's done, I'm back. Okay. And then and then I walked you through allowing some integration, some validation of your experience so that you could come back to this rest and relate because we're having an engaging conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can offer that that's how it's supposed to go. Every
Mm-hmm.
time we have activation, I bet
It
it's not how it
doesn't.
goes every time,
Nope.
right?
Sure
We
isn't.
are socialized, we're enculturated, we are trained, we are traumatized from a very small age or older to not allow those things to happen. Or in the case of that broadside from the right, we didn't have time to finish it. And then we are strapped to a body board and they won't let us shake, right? Like there are all kinds of reasons that we can get interrupted in that threat response cycle, that
Mm-hmm.
activation cycle. If we are interrupted or we don't complete something, I just wrote I write my emails on Friday. I send out like a newsletter thingy jigger on Fridays, and I just wrote it today about the integration phase. I was
Look at
never
that.
taught to integrate.
Mm.
Never. Like, okay, it's over. We're done. Don't talk about it again.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That verbal thing, I've processed out loud to somebody else, right? Like I said, we're social creatures. So anytime that one of those cycles is not completed, anytime that we get stuck somewhere, anytime that anything happens, remember the twig snap and it was a squirrel? They shook it off, so they discharged that activation energy. They recognized that there was no threat, so it was over, and they integrated. Whew, well, at least I heard the twig snap,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime that there's an interruption or a stuck place, there's the potential for trauma in your body. And remembering that we're talking about what's happening in your body, not your mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't remember the question.
No, that actually is that was perfect. That leads me into my next question, which is the mind. Like, why, when you're experiencing trauma or heartbreak or just that like nervous system activation, even if it's like your car got towed, why does advice feel useless? Because it does. Like, anytime anybody says anything to you, it does not matter. It's like you know the things, and like even if you're logically like reading things or doing anything to try to make yourself feel better, it's like, okay, I can know that to be true, but I am so fucking uncomfortable, like nothing is helping me. And it comes back to, like I've said, like the only thing that helped me was this somatic healing. And so like why though? Like, why, as a life coach, as an SE expert, like what is happening? Why doesn't the mind work?
Yeah. So, knee-jerk reaction. I am a somatic experiencing practitioner. I am
Sorry.
not an expert.
Sorry.
No, it's totally fine.
I knew
It's
you were going to
totally
say
fine. I
that to
talk
me.
like I am because I'm confident, but
You're an expert in my world, Betsy.
oh, thanks, Sarah. Um, yeah, so why can we not talk ourselves out of it? Because the prefrontal cortex was the last thing to evolve.
Hmm.
We can't override the rest of our bodies.
Interesting. Well, and you said that at the beginning, that like our body knows what to do. That hit
Mhm.
something in me.
Yeah. Given given no socialization, no like I rode horses forever, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
falling off a horse for all of my life. If somebody was around, I would jump back up and make sure everybody knew that I was okay to take care of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? But really, if nobody had ever told my body what to do, I would fall off the horse, let the horse run the fuck away, because who cares? I would fall off the horse, I would land on the ground, I would stay on the ground. I would inventory, am I okay? I would shake probably because it's an abrupt stop. It's a short stop, right? I would probably shake. I might curse and yell at the horse. I might, um, whatever, but I would take my time and
Mm-hmm.
allow my body to do whatever it needed to do. Cry, rage, feel
Mm-hmm.
the feelings, right? And I would need somebody to come over and go, "Oh my God, that was terribly scary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just stay there. Just
Mm-hmm.
feel what you're feeling because that is awful. That was awful. I can only imagine what it was like for you." Right? So validating my experience within myself and somebody else doing it because we're social creatures.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so can I pause you there? So like you're saying that that's
Absolutely.
okay to want that validation from other people?
We need it. We
That's interesting.
absolutely need it.
That's interesting. I like
Yeah.
that.
You
Hmm.
have to find people who will do so.
Right. That's the tricky part.
But that is real because every human out there that we interact with has also gotten the same messaging in their own version and taken it in the same way of, oh, just brush it off. Or,
Mm-hmm.
well, you shouldn't have been that stupid to begin with. Or,
Mm-hmm.
why were you walking alone at night?
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
All of these things, right? None of that is, oh my God, I can't, oh,
What a
that,
fucked up thing that person did to you. What a fucked up thing you
exactly,
experienced. And let me tell you,
exactly.
going back to the idea of like, because again, I'm trying to like channel into my brain and what I was feeling when I experienced that great trauma. That was the only, because kind of going back to the same topic of like, no advice works. No advice works. No advice works. But that worked. Anybody validating me did make me feel better. Those were the
Yes.
only words that did
Because
work.
your body knew that what had been going on and what had just happened was wrong
Mm-hmm.
on a fundamental level and that you were injured. Whether that
Mm-hmm.
was emotional or physical, you were injured. And having everybody invalidate your experience
Mm-hmm. By going, oh,
was,
he was a piece of shit or whatever, or oh yeah,
yeah,
I always thought he sucked,
right,
or saying,
right.
oh, you just have to get back out there. Whatever the advice is, just be with
Yeah,
friends.
you have to have time to be with your own feelings and not have anybody lay their own feelings on you. Occasionally, like the other day, something happened with a colleague and I had righteous indignation on her behalf.
Mm-hmm.
And I gauged it very carefully in my professional opinion. Would it be okay for her to hear my anger? This was a very sensitive topic for her. Was it okay for her to hear my anger? In that case, I decided that it might be. It was probably right on the edge of her ability to be with it. And she did defend the person for a bit. And then she thanked me later. She's like, wow, it was really helpful for you to be angry
I
on
love
my
that.
behalf. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I love
yeah.
that.
And that's the stuff that it's not in our mind. It's not conceptual.
Mm-hmm.
It's our body's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we pretend like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's the
It's
only
true.
thing that matters. Because if
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't come out now, it'll come out later.
Mm-hmm.
Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, heart disease, right? Like there are like half century long studies showing that if
Mm-hmm.
there was trauma that was unresolved, it will turn into somaticized stuff later, somatic being body based.
Mm-hmm.
It will turn into stuff later, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And is that when you end up having a dysregulated nervous system? Is that what that means?
You can have a dysregulated nervous system for five
Period.
minutes in the day,
Oh,
or you
okay.
can have a dysregulated nervous system for years before it starts to express in a chronic way. Um, a regulated nervous system is you don't have a time limit, right?
I don't. I do not. I am
Okay.
happy to talk to you all
So,
night.
for those who are listening, I'm putting my hands vertically really far apart. One like over, hovering kind of above my head and one down by my belly. At conception, we have the potential to have a whole bunch of capacity for activation, nervous system activation, and nervous system settling. So that rest and digest is down at the bottom, right, where we can be still in safety.
Mm-hmm.
And activation where you can still function. We might call it I I must and I can,
Mm. Okay.
right? Um, so at conception, we've got this great big amount of space. And then let's say that your mom smoked or had a stressful pregnancy. My hands are getting closer together. And then maybe we were born via C-section. And then maybe
Holy
any
shit.
of the ACEs studies, right? The childhood adverse childhood experiences, they
I'm
come a little
processing that you said
closer.
conception. You didn't say birth. You said
I
conception.
didn't.
Keep
I
going.
said conception.
Oh
And
my god.
then you didn't let's see, you had a bad boyfriend in high school or a girlfriend, and maybe you have been in a car accident, and then you went through COVID, and 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 then you didn't sleep well last night. And for those listening, my hands are about an inch and a half or 2 inches apart right now. So that space, that 2 inches, is where we would be regulated. The amount of
Mm.
activation and the amount of settling that you can handle.
Oh my God.
So,
A
so,
hundred percent.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So anything above or below that is dysregulation. Overwhelm, freeze, functional freeze, um, all kinds of stuff is in here, right? And our culture suggests that we should live there anyway
Mm-hmm.
and continue to push us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And the only way that our capacity can get bigger is from inside it,
Inside it in the regulated, you're saying?
inside this regulated space.
Okay.
So you figure out your thresholds.
Yeah.
How long can you stay calm and quiet? Can you get calm and quiet at all? Or do you
Yeah.
just freeze? Do you reach for your phone because you can't? Um, how much activation can you handle without being overwhelmed? Do you even have a clue? Right? But if you work within, and I'm doing like a sine wave, I think it's a sine wave right now, just up and down, activating and settling and activating and settling. And if you do that within those two thresholds, and you nudge the edges, and with a skilled practitioner, you're nudging the edges on purpose,
Mm-hmm.
you grow capacity. And for those who are just listening, my hands begin to get a little bit further apart again. You begin to grow nervous system capacity so that you can feel calm more. And it's okay to be still. Or so that you can have some activation without going into overwhelm or without shutting down completely. And so the space with wit in between those thresholds is regulation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anything elsewhere is dysregulation.
So tell me more about those nudges because I'm thinking about like the ways that obviously it's not like that it's not linear. Like your example you just gave was obviously for obvious reasons a very linear example, but
Uh-huh.
that it doesn't work like that you
Right.
are maybe healing and you're okay and you feel really good and you feel really confident and then let's say a trauma happens and now that capacity just fucking shrunk tons. Or
Right.
let's put it into a shorter term because I like that you brought this up during the day, like that this can happen during the day as well. That
Yeah.
like you can be completely confident and you identify as a confident person, and now you just walked into a room and the person that you know hates you is there and sudden and you don't like your outfit and you didn't like your hair when you left the house and now suddenly your capacity just shrunk a shit ton and you're living from a place of insecurity. So like
Yeah.
what are those nudges? What does that look like?
Yeah. It's stopping yourself from activating over overwhelm.
Okay.
So you usually with
So it's
practice with
not
help
pushing yourself out of your
first.
comfort zone.
It is so the comfort zone might be a little bit different, but it's an easy handle to use at the beginning is stay in your damn comfort zone.
Mm.
And the people who are doing that and being told that they are ugh, fill in the blank, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, they're at least trying.
Stay in your comfort zone is
Sometimes,
crazy. Like that.
sometimes your comfort zone is actually functional freeze. So there's a lot of fuzziness around calling it comfort zone instead of regulation, and that's why like half the work that I do is education at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But think of training for a marathon. I have never trained for a marathon, but I have tested this out on people who have trained for marathons, and they agree with this in principle. When you're training for a marathon, you never run the whole 26.2 miles or however long it is
Mm-hmm.
as fast as you can, except on the day of the marathon when you're competing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you are dead. You are dead, if not severely injured by the end. And So when you're training, you jog slow for distance, you do little wind sprints for speed, and yeah, sometimes you go full out for a little while, right? But you don't ever, and you're gaining stamina with this training program. You're gaining stamina, you're gaining speed. But if you push too hard, ready? If you push too hard, you could hurt something and then you fall back in time. You might miss the marathon itself. You might um you might like miss weeks to months of training and probably not back to square one, but maybe depending on how badly you hurt yourself,
Even if you
right?
don't physically hurt yourself, I could picture you being like, well, I'm not doing that again. That was incredibly
Yes.
uncomfortable. There's no fucking way I'm running. That's not for me.
Yes. All of those things, right? And so the goal is to jog for a long distance, metaphorically with your nervous
Mm-hmm.
system, or to push it a little for speed, and that's nudging the edges. And I'll come back around to your very specific question in a minute. Um, but it means that you are getting faster and can run longer so that when the marathon actually comes, I'm not sure that they're like, what is the percentage of those hundreds of people who run a marathon at each marathon? What is the percentage of those people who come out and are okay at the end?
Are or are not?
Are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I went to one recently and there was a medical tent there. I saw a lot. I saw a lot of
Yeah,
people that were not
right?
well.
So that's the survival response,
Mm-hmm.
right? We need to stay within our capacity so that when we need it to
Mm-hmm.
make it through, it's there,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So your specific question was how do we nudge the edges? Um, I strongly advocate finding a practitioner to help you figure out where your edges are because we often delude ourselves like crazy about where those edges actually are.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to. I mean, one of the things about being traumatized is that we think we have to do everything alone. I was a self-help queen for 15 years, 20 years. I gotta figure I can't possibly find somebody. And I often said it by like, oh, I can't afford anybody. Well, that's accurate. And yet now I can afford it, right? And while
Mm-hmm.
I was working my way through the SE training, I figured out how to afford it, right? And so it's healed enough that I recognized that this was a thing I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what you do with a practitioner or a group or by yourself is you watch how activated you are and you don't go all the way into the story. You don't go all the way to the bottom of the well. You stay in the shallows and then you come back. You look around your room, you find the things in your room that you put there that you love. You find your feet. You allow your entire system to settle back down again. So we're doing an arc up. I'm drawing with my finger up towards that line where we nudge that line, right? Like that's as activated as we can get without going into overwhelm or shutting down into freeze. And then we come down, and it takes a lot longer to come down, at least 3 times as long to come down scientifically as it does to activate. So I usually call it activating and settling instead of activating and deactivating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so settling takes a long time and we let it happen. We force it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And and so that means we're nudging both sides.
Hmm.
And then we can activate again because that's what life is.
Yeah. Oh, the settling is so interesting because 100%, like, it's like something that's silly because, like, I know that to be true logically, but you
Uh-huh.
saying it out loud, of course,
Uh-huh.
settling takes so much longer than the activation and
Uh-huh.
allowing that settling because I'm picturing The shoulds. Like, let's go back to your example of the validation. When I said to you, oh, so I'm allowed to get validation from other people, and you were like, yeah, that's like a creature thing, like that's the kind of creatures that we are. I'm picturing when I've been activated being like, well, I need to be able to validate myself, like I can't get it from other people, and like
Yeah,
getting into, and I'm trying to
exactly.
shove it down. I've got to relax, and it's almost like you're like suppressing instead of feeling through your feelings and allowing your body to do what it needs to
And
do.
that's a trauma pattern,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Somewhere along
Sure.
the way it wasn't okay to seek help
Yeah.
for when things went wrong, right? And
Yeah.
so you learned that really well,
Mhm. Or
and
that's you
that's where you
admitting
go.
that you're
Yeah.
like, for us at Wellish, it's a lot of good enough wounds and all that kind of stuff. So it's like that you're admitting to defeat, like that you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
what I think about me and what this ether imaginary
And
audience
that's
thinks of
collapse,
me.
right?
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
collapse, that's freeze. And
Mhm.
that so in my deer story, they never freeze because
Mm.
not because, but like freeze is in some respects, it's like above the survival response, right? So survival response is not the fight or flight is not possible, whether it's for social reasons or training or trauma or the mountain lion got me before I could run, right?
Mhm.
And so we freeze, but we still have to come back down.
Mhm.
Right. So for those who are listening instead of watching, my hand is really high in the air for freeze, right? So the arc went up as I activated, and then I burst out into overwhelm and freeze. And so I still have to come back down. And it's insanely uncomfortable to come back down because freeze is quiet
Mm.
for often. I'm
Mhm.
a champion freezer. Uh
Same.
yeah, it's quiet, it's calm, it's I can get stuff done, damn it, right? That would be functional freeze, right?
Yep.
It's blissful when I meditate. When I try to meditate, I go directly into freeze because my body doesn't work that way. Like it's not safe. It wasn't safe. I haven't meditated in a while. Um, and so it's just blissful. But I don't come out of it like relaxed and calm and refreshed. I come out of it like I was in a coma.
Yeah.
Right? So when you come out of freeze, you often have to come through that activation, which cues as bad and wrong and scary,
Mhm.
not safe. And so you go back up into freeze again.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
So I
And
have a
speaking from
lot of people.
experience,
Yeah.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
gonna say, I just feel like it's a control thing too. Like if you're in that space, like you feel like you're in
Well,
control of what's happening.
freeze is trapped, right?
Mhm.
Freeze is trapped in your body. Freeze is
Mhm.
trapped by situations. Freeze
Mhm.
is you can control this space.
Right. Because I'm not doing anything wrong, and I don't have to take action on like what I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue. I wanted to hear what else you had to say.
I
I
don't
just.
remember where I was. It's fine.
I
I can
apologize.
talk until the
I got
cows come
excited.
home.
Yeah.
No, it's good. No, it's really good. Right. And then that settling taking so much longer. Back to when you got back on the call,
Yeah.
right? When you got back on the whatever this is.
Yeah.
And and first I was like reassuring you, right?
Mhm.
And then I was like, yeah, that really sucked, huh? That must have been really hard for you. First I asked, first before anything else, I asked if it was okay for me to slip into practitioner mode briefly.
Yeah.
Right. So consent before anything,
Mhm.
right? Because you don't want somebody to fucking therapize you
Yeah.
without your
It's
consent,
true.
right?
It's
That's
true.
slimy and gross.
It's
So
true.
I asked for consent and then I offered validation so that, first we um, registered that it was over, completed, you were back on, it was still recording, blah, 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 right? And then and then there was the validation and you're like, okay, we can go. I'm like, nope, not yet.
Mhm.
Where are your feet? Where's your seat? Look around your room, right? And I just kept drawing it out. And each time your breathing got more comfortable and you like were more and more present and available to be here. And settling takes a lot longer. Like I said, it really biologically, physiologically takes at least 3 times as long to settle as it does to activate. which is
Mhm.
makes a ton of sense. You need to be able to run from the mountain lion as fast as, like in
Yeah,
a fraction of a second. And who cares how long it takes you to settle,
right.
right?
Well,
If there's
so
no
then,
threat, then it can take time,
right. Okay.
but we have to
So,
give it. In
well,
our
and that's,
culture, we don't give it.
yeah. Well, and I think what's taught is that we have to fix it and we have to manage it. And so I'm wondering the
And
difference
that's not
between,
completing it. None of that is
right.
completing it.
Okay, well, so maybe that's the answer to my question. It's like, what's the difference between managing it and actually resolving those patterns? Is it the completion?
So, when I'm working with somebody who has trauma, is that what you're asking? Like
Yeah,
old
sure.
trauma
Yeah,
or in the moment trauma?
either one.
It doesn't matter, actually. Same way. We need to finish the circuit. We need to do the whole, I'm making a circle with my hands. We need to make sure that everything on that activation, that threat response cycle gets done. Sometimes it's redundant. Sometimes you need to do a fight and a flight.
Mm, mm.
And that could mean running in your seat. It could mean like actually like punching the air and picturing your mom in front of it. It could mean it could mean uh all kinds of things.
Yeah.
It could mean pushing on a wall, like creating boundaries, like get the fuck away from me.
Wait,
Why did you even think you could get in my space? Get away from me.
so you're
Right?
saying to physically do these things, like, okay, let's say I have a thought that pops into my head that is unwelcome. I don't love that.
Uh-huh.
You're
Huh?
not allowed to have power over me anymore, thought, person, situation, whatever. So I'm going to physically push against this wall to create a boundary?
You can. There's lots of different techniques. So you can go onto Facebook, you can go onto Insta, you can go onto probably TikTok. I have no idea about TikTok, but YouTube, like books, graphics. Like there's all kinds of tools for what you can do. What I will say is any of the things that you do, any of these tools that you grab from wherever, you still can't go beyond your threshold.
Great
So
clarification.
if pushing on a wall gets you too activated, then push on the air.
Mm,
Or imagine pushing,
mm.
right? There's all kinds of ways to step it back and to make sure that whatever you're doing is within your capacity, your true nervous system capacity, not the false one that
Mm-hmm.
we think.
Mm-hmm. That just made me take a deep breath, just thinking about even being able to imagine when I feel activated, pushing, imagining, pushing that situation, person, thought, guilt trip that I'm giving myself out of my head. You're not helping me. Like, be gone.
Yeah. And you can try it and see if it works.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's all kinds of other stuff. Pushing is just one of the things that you can do. I have little toys around that I can like wring the living, stuffing out of, except it's silicone, so it won't, there's no stuffing. But like, so I'm channeling the anger that I'm feeling, and I'm feeling
Mhm.
it all the way down into my hands and into the thing. Right? So I'm actually, it's the same thing as running or fighting. I am using that energy, that activation energy. I'm actually using it instead of um, smushing it down.
Okay. So take me through the cycle one more time. So you get activated and
So
then
hopefully we start at rest and relate. And
mhm.
then there's a startle or preparation. And it's very often very, very short. But in that startle phase, our resources, our physiological resources, tend to leave our guts because who needs to digest when there's a threat, right? Tends to leave our prefrontal cortex and goes to our amygdala. So we actually can't think straight, right?
Mhm.
And it goes to our big muscles so that we can do something, right? We can run, we can fight, we can do something, right? And then there's the survival response, and that's fight or flight. Sometimes it's freeze, and then it's discharging. So fight or flight is a way of discharging all of that action potential in our body. So it's startle response, survival response. Oh, threat's over, completion of the threat. Whew, thank goodness it's not here anymore.
So what
Recognizing that it's over. The car accident is actually over. The the engagement is over. You are no longer engaged to this horrible man, right?
Mhm.
Yay.
Yay.
Sometimes our bodies don't recognize that.
Mhm.
So sometimes that's the part that we have to work on. Like, how can you tell that it's over,
How
right?
can your
And
body tell
then,
that it's over?
huh?
How can your body tell it's over if your mind knows it but
It
your body doesn't?
it's individual to each person.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. All of these things are individual to each
That
person.
makes sense. Mhm.
And then integration is processing, digesting the stuff that happened. Sometimes integration is, sometimes it can take days, sometimes weeks, sometimes even longer. Sometimes it's just like half a second if it was a little bitty thing. Um, so sometimes it's talking, sometimes it's journaling, sometimes it's, those are all the things that our brains recognize, right? In reality, what's happening is like the puzzle pieces are rearranging in our body to come up with a slightly different normal, slightly new normal each time we go around and close the loop. Because that's
Okay.
what it is in effect, like trauma in our bodies is an open loop.
Mhm.
And it could be like a broken loop with like the survival response didn't get done. It could be an incomplete loop because the integration phase didn't get done, right? And so each time we close a loop, stuff has to rearrange in our bodies. So that's what
Interesting.
integration is.
Okay. So if somebody like I mean I could be totally wrong here, but just thinking that people could be if they haven't been practicing this, like if you've been so in your mind because you're just so integrated in that world and into in whatever way because society, because your parents, because self-improvement, whatever. You're so in
Hmm.
your head, not connected to your body. Like I picture that person to be disconnected from their body. So like what
Absolutely.
does that person do to
So
start
I
to
would I would
reconnect?
offer that there are all kinds of psychology terms, and the DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, will say things like dissociation,
Mm,
depersonalization, derealization. In my language, I am not a therapist, right? In my language, that's nervous system freeze.
mm,
So is depression, potentially. So is um, chronic fatigue syndrome, potentially. Fibromyalgia, potentially, right? Again, I am not a diagnostician, so I'm going to say that, oh, well, that has the hallmarks of freeze. So, especially if it's a freeze that's been going on for a long time, you can be in freeze for decades,
mhm.
right? And because it's functional, you can still be like vibrating and like you can be going up and down. You can still experience some excitement. You can still get a little bit more activated, right? I also look at it as freeze is like the gas and the brake on full. And so
Oh, okay.
sometimes the brake will come off just a little bit and the gas is still there. Sometimes the gas comes up just a little bit and the brake is still there, right? So but they're warring and you're not going anywhere,
You're just burning
right?
out.
You're just burning out. Exactly. You are burning out. So it's exhausting. Your system is such a wreck, right? And that's where we get all those chronic illnesses because your immune system doesn't work. Because remember what I said about the resources leaving the digestive system because it needs to prepare to do stuff, right?
Mhm.
Our immune system is in our digestive system.
Mm.
That is like the sure, yes, white blood cells. But like our digestive system is the main hub of our immune system. And if we've been dysregulated for long enough, which functional freeze is dysregulation,
Mhm.
then we don't have an immune system. And I don't mean in an autoimmune disorder kind of way, but like it's just not functioning properly. And so we will get all the things, right?
Oh my
And we will
God, that
be
makes
burnt
sense.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I'm trying to like circle back to what you're okay. So say you're in functional freeze and you've
Hmm.
been for years. Um, I have techniques to yoink somebody out of freeze, but that's usually when they've just gone into it. They've just slipped into it. Maybe they've been in there for like a day. If your system only feels safe in freeze, me yoinking or anybody, right? Like the vagal nerve stimulators,
Hmm.
um, pulling somebody out of freeze is going to work for half a second and they're going to be furious and scared because their body is saying, not safe,
Hmm.
right? And so what you do is you begin to introduce a little bit less freeze, right? Like things are a little bit okay. How can we tell how things are a little bit okay? Like, do you feel warm in the blanket under, do you feel warm? How's warm? Is warm okay? Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
cool. So we're not going for good. We are not asking for good. Where do you feel good? How do you feel good? We're not asking, we're asking for a little bit less bad.
Oh my
And
God.
then over time, and it can be weeks, it can be months. It took me probably 2 years to get to the point where I was not always in freeze, working with an SEP, right? And that doesn't mean I wasn't doing other good stuff, but that was the main thing that we were working on, is just allowing my nervous system to recognize that it could come out of freeze.
Hmm.
So if you've been there for a long time, you just give yourself grace. You have to. And be around people who can give you grace when you offer yourself to them, right? Whether that's a therapist or whether it's a practitioner, whether it's a partner, right? Somebody who's not going to be creating more reasons to stay and freeze.
Yeah. It makes me feel like that's why the approach that so many people take of self-improvement backfires.
I'm nodding vigorously.
Oh my God. That's crazy. Like,
Just do more.
yeah. Oh my God. Because, like, it feels logically, again, back in our mind, feels logically as though if we do more or we do better or we do faster, we learn more, we grow more, we'll be better, right? Obviously, we
That
have
only
learned that
works.
equates better.
That only works if you are in a state of regulation, in which case it works exactly the way it's supposed to.
Ah! Oh my
And
God.
I swear to God, I don't see them because they don't come to me to work with me. But apparently, there are some people that are regulated and can handle this
I don't
crazy
believe
ass
you.
world.
I don't believe you.
I don't, I'm going on faith here. People tell me that this is a thing.
That's
But like,
crazy.
if I can circle back around to that activation
Please.
cycle, you said this is gonna air in February. Heaven only knows what's going to happen between now, which is January 23rd, and February, and whenever else somebody listens to it or watches
Mhm.
it, right? The last 3 weeks have been insane. Have we integrated a single piece of anything that has happened?
Nope.
Not a single piece. And that's a tactic. That is certainly a tactic. It is on purpose that they're doing that. Keep us in overwhelm so that they can do whatever the hell they want. Run right
Yeah.
over us because we're
Yep.
still going, whoa, 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 whoa.
What did he say?
Right?
What did they
Right.
do?
Right. Exactly. So that's one of the reasons I work with groups, right? I said
Mhm.
I said earlier that like climate change, climate collapse was my
Yeah.
original thing. At this point, my main group that I run is called Collapse Resilience
Mhm.
because we need to do some of that integration and we do it together because these issues are so big that
Mhm.
one-on-one it can work. It does work, but in a group container where we're all holding space for each other, we're all validating each other's experiences, and we're watching to make sure nobody gets too activated. It's magic. It
I
makes
believe
it
you.
possible to exist.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. What what do you think people need to understand about themselves after trauma? Cuz
Things are different.
yeah, cuz like I picture like continuing to identify because that thing happened to you, like that it invalidates the experience in a way. That you're like, okay, if I'm going to be healed and I'm going to let that go, does that mean that what happened to me doesn't matter anymore?
Not for a second.
Right.
Because resolving it, that's why I don't use the word healed.
Okay.
Resolving it is resolving it in your body. It's not invalidating your experience. It's not pretending it didn't exist. Because among other things, when we resolve something in your system, it's like I can never remember the Japanese thing where the bowl breaks and then they put it back together with gold
Uh-huh, with the
in
gold. Yep.
between, right? So we get put back together with gold
Mhm.
and we come out better for it.
Mhm.
Yes, it still happened to us. And heaven only knows if, especially if it's complex trauma or developmental trauma, it's never possible to resolve all of it, right? We can think we're completely resolved, and then 15 years later, there's this like 1 cent, right? Or this one little avenue, this one little thread that we didn't catch, right? And so then we do
Mhm.
it again, right? So that's why they say like healing doesn't stop because you have to keep and things keep happening, right? Like look at this world, things keep happening.
Mhm.
And so we learn the skills to be able to take it in and digest it in real time,
Mhm.
right? We learn the skills, we get the community, we get the support to be working through it in real time so it doesn't leave trauma in our bodies that we'll have to work with 5, 10, 15, 40, 60 years later. And and we're different people with the same history we used to have, but without the baggage, with freedom.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, I love that. Hmm. That's incredible. So, to wrap us up, I like to play a game with my guests. I call it Kinda Toxic, Kinda Well. Essentially, what it's meant for is to bring humanity to my guests who seemingly have it all together, but kind of correlated to what you were just explaining. It's never perfect. You're never going to be
Hmm.
100% healed. So I like to showcase that to my listeners. But because you guys normally have so much together, you normally, A, have either really good answers, or B, there are things in here that people will be like, I truly don't experience it anymore. And that is also empowering in itself. So, whatever you feel called to say, I've got 8 rapid fire questions if you're down to play.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay. What or who are you jealous of right now?
Okay, so my initial this is so weird. My initial response is Taylor Swift. I want a world stage and
You are
money
not the only
and fame.
person that has said that. I think that is
Yeah.
so funny.
And I love her. Like I love her. I don't care. Yeah.
Done. What's a moment recently where you caught yourself ignoring your own needs or that you chose yourself instead?
My dog had a health emergency
Oh
on
no.
Sunday,
Oh no.
and I stuffed it all down because I am an animal professional first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
And it was terrifying. And it's the second time she's done the same thing. And the first time I was sure I was watching her die.
Oh.
And this time I had more information and I had a tool to try. And I did the fucking thing. And she was okay. And then I lost my shit.
Oh my
But I put
God.
myself aside to do the thing that needed to happen.
I love that answer. That was a really good answer. Hmm. What do you find yourself overthinking about these days?
God, how do I reach more people? How do I make more of a difference?
Mm.
So much
What is
pain, there's so much trauma.
it's true.
Sorry, go
It's
ahead.
true. No, no. What is a should, like an expectation that you've put on yourself that you've let go of, or one that you know you still need to?
Something that I fight with is, remember I said I like Taylor Swift and I'm jealous of Taylor Swift because she has a world stage platform and she has lots of money. Money is really hard.
Mm.
And I am experientially aware that when I don't keep my eyes narrowly focused on the money that is coming in and going out, I'm fine. There is going to be enough. There is going to be enough. And then I slip into, oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh my God, oh my God. Right? And then I slip back and forth. So yeah, that's a thing.
So that was me this morning, and that's why I've been raging about capitalism all day. As I said
You're
earlier.
here.
Here,
Yeah.
here. Um, where was I? Hold on, I lost my spot. What's a toxic thought you still catch yourself believing?
People don't care what I have to say.
Real.
I have to stay small. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's something that makes you quick to get annoyed or angry?
Now, when people breach my boundaries,
Go on.
but I didn't ever know what boundaries were before. So that's new.
Yeah. What's a wellness rule or trend that you don't buy into?
Them,
Real. All of them
all
is
of
such a
them.
real answer. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
100%. If you could
yeah.
leave my wellish friends with one piece of advice on becoming more well than toxic, what advice would you give them?
Figure out where I call it zone of confidence. Figure out where those edges are of your nervous system capacity and stay within them. There are true survival issues, but they are not as often as you think. We're talking the hurricanes and the tornadoes and the dude approaching you in a dark alley. We are not talking the presentation you have to do tomorrow. Take
Incredible.
care of yourself above all else.
Incredible. Incredible. You are so fascinating to me. I loved this conversation. I
Thank
swear to
you.
God. Yeah. I mean, it was so, the number of times I took a deep breath during it, the way you articulate yourself, the way you share your message, it's very incredible. I really loved this interview. I loved having
I'm
you.
so glad, Sarah. Thank you.
Mhm.
I think you're great at it too. So it
Thanks.
was really fun for me. We were talking earlier that not all of the interviews are fun for various reasons, but this one was great. Thank you.
Yay. I'm so glad you had that experience.